All right, what is going on, everyone? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being here right now, watching this video. I do really appreciate you for your time, and I'd really appreciate if you do consider subscribing because it truly does help me out a lot. Now, we got Anthony Joshua, man, knocking out Francis Ngannou, devastating fashion. But me personally, I could care less. You get what I mean? At the end of the day, it's boxing. It happens, and I get it, right? You watch your favorite fighter get knocked out. It's sad, but me personally, bro, it's a part of the sport. It happens, and you just have to accept that. But he recently made his boxing debut, put on a pretty dominant performance against Tyson Fury, sorry, and things like that, man. And a lot of people think he would do really, really well, and yeah, I'm in this fight, and it's just like, bro, he got KO'd in the second round. First knockdown, then KO'd. In the second round, which is like crazy. And it's just like Anthony Joshua wasn't even phased. He just knocked him off. He just knocked him out, walked off like it was nothing. He was like, hey, bro, you're in the big leagues now. Let me show this guy what's up. Let me show this guy a lesson. Let me show you can't just go from the UFC thinking you can take over this sport, kind of thing. Like, bro, I promise you, Anthony Joshua didn't even seem phased. Not even in the post-fight press conference. Like, you would think he didn't even gain anything from this fight. You get what I mean? And it's just like crazy, bro. But at the end of the day, we all do know that Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou made an agreement. Jake Paul tweeted out, anybody who agrees to fight Francis in a boxing match has to fight him in MMA right after. So I don't know what happened to that statement, man. But without further ado, let's just stop yapping and play the video.
What a sight. Francis Ngannou got KO'd in the second round against Anthony Joshua, and this is what we expected to happen when he fought Tyson Fury, but it was delivered by Joshua, who is a power puncher. More than anything, he's a technical boxer who understands the game at the highest level, and his strategy to beat a big puncher like Ngannou was pretty simple, but deadly at the same time. You notice that he was constantly throwing that body jab in the first round. He was conditioning Ngannou to keep looking for the left hook, because what he saw from Ngannou facing Tyson Fury was that whenever Fury threw the body jab, Ngannou always try to...
Oh, I forgot too. Since Francis Ngannou, right, never had a actual boxing match or anything. They didn't know his actual style because he was just fighting MMA and UFC the whole time. So it's just like Tyson Fury didn't know what to expect. So there was not much to study. So, he didn't know what to expect. So Francis stepped in there unexpected and, controversially, won that fight. It was very controversial though, but he arguably won that fight. And now it's just like he stepped into his second boxing match. Anthony Joshua now knows what to expect from Francis Ngannou. So now it's just like, okay, he has something to study, bro. And it's only one fight. So it's just like you watch that one fight and just like study it over and over and over again, which is the most easiest thing you can do. So, yeah, man. Anthony Joshua outclassed Francis. So, without further ado, let's just keep going.
Counter him with the left hook. And this is also taking place in this fight. So it was a good observation from Anthony Joshua to bring that punch out in this one. And what happens is, and there was a bunch of feints from Joshua as well, faking like he's going to enter with some kind of attack, and Ngannou would keep giving him that left hook look. And this also explained why Joshua kept moving to his own left. He knew the main punch Ngannou was looking for was the left hook. He wasn't as worried about the right hand. Everything Joshua did, Ngannou responded with throwing a left hook at him. And
I'm not going to lie. Sorry, I keep pausing so soon, but I'm not going to lie. Anthony Joshua is more experienced in his weight class and with the gloves and everything when it comes to boxing, while Francis Ngannou isn't really much experienced. You get what I mean? So every time he punches, it's with power, but it doesn't really have any speed. He's just focusing all his body weight on that one punch, and it's just like, it's kind of slow, man, and it could end up slowing you down and draining your energy if you keep landing those kind of punches. So it's just like Joshua Anthony was throwing feints, and Francis was falling for it, bro. But let's keep going.
The left hook from Ngannou was kind of awkward, very wide. Ngannou gets a big habit of keeping his arms wide open, which keeps a big opening on the center of his stance. So straight punches from Joshua are going to be free, creating this habit out of Ngannou to keep looking for that check left hook. And naturally, Ngannou's stance has a wide opening on the center. So all Joshua really needed was the 1-2, and that's all he used. He didn't use the left hook that he's known for. He didn't use any of the uppercuts he's known for. He just had to work with 2 punches. It just need to know when to place those shots on Ngannou. So the body jabs are going to constantly keep the habit going. And because of the body jabs, Joshua is also able to evade to his own left side, getting away from these left hooks. Therefore, they're not really going to cause damage to him. And for the first knockdown, notice what Joshua does. He stands in front of Ngannou. This occurs because Francis Ngannou switched into the southpaw stance, which he was not ready to do. He wasn't ready to play with the lead feet. Immediately when he switched, you saw Joshua already understood what he had to do. He constantly was playing with the lead hand, trapping it, and stepping with his lead foot on the outside of his opponents. And also notice that this right hand from Joshua misses because he was way too far away when he threw it. In fact, look at the punch. He threw it straight into Ngannou and it got right in front of Ngannou's face and then fell short. He needed to get closer to Ngannou, so notice what he does to fix that when he drops him. It showed that Ngannou was completely clueless on what Joshua was doing. So notice right here, they're both in their stances. Joshua steps forward and Ngannou didn't react by moving anywhere. He had a slight lean away, so he was in the same position, whereas Joshua is now close.
Francis Ngannou has bad fight IQ, bro. Bad fight IQ, and it's due to his lack of experience. But let's keep going.
Right, he let Joshua enter into this space freely because Ngannou just didn't know what Joshua was doing. He didn't put on any kind of offense. He didn't move into Joshua. He didn't move away to create more space and reset the distance. He just stood there in his stance. And then look what Joshua does immediately after stepping forward. He distributes his weight to his back foot. So when you step forward, you're bringing your weight forward as well. So he makes sure to lean away after stepping. So he can give Ngannou that illusion that he's still far away, so Ngannou feels safe at that distance. Joshua does not want to scare his prey away. If he was putting weight on his front foot and constantly leaning forward, he would have Ngannou a bit more on edge and might not be able to land with this kind of shot that he did. So by putting his weight on his back foot like this, he explodes off of it, takes the outside step with his lead foot, and quickly places that right straight through the center with absolutely no telegraph. There was no windup. There was no cocking back of the punch to make it look like it was going to be more powerful. There was no tell for Ngannou to see that right straight. His stance is wide again, beams Ngannou in the face, dropping him for the first time in his career. Ngannou's never been knocked down ever. He's rarely ever even been stunned. And this all happens in the first round. You can only imagine the confidence in Ngannou probably started to wither away. He's always known to have an iron chin. And to get hurt that badly and early in a fight must have been super discouraging and confusing for him. And then we go into the second knockdown. That was the real finish of the fight. Ngannou was not able to fight after that punch lands. It was Ngannou moving forward. This is the most dangerous thing about Anthony Joshua's strategy. Because he's constantly pepping him with jabs and keeping away, he wants to lure Ngannou into him. Even though Ngannou's arm span is an inch longer than Joshua's, he still didn't have distance management on him. Ngannou starts to get a little bit more aggressive and throwing out the jabs, but he wasn't throwing his jabs hard, and he was constantly falling short with them. This happened multiple times. Look at every single time Ngannou threw the jab, and also notice Joshua's reaction. Barely moving the way and saw the opening every time Ngannou dropped his hand. He knew to counter it with his right. So in the knockdown sequence, at this point, Joshua has a complete understanding of the distance that Ngannou throws the jab, and he doesn't even move his head this time. He actually gets ready to throw his right hand before the jab is even fully extended from Ngannou. Complete confidence in Anthony Joshua right here. In fact, so much confidence, he takes the jab at the very end of the extension where it's weak. This is the difference between an Olympic former world champion boxer compared to an inexperienced boxer. The gap between distance management between these two fighters are so wide apart. They're not even close in skill. The guy literally took the jab at the end of the punch knowing that it was going to be weak from that distance. And Ngannou drops that left hand, which he often does when he throws. This is actually a very common thing amongst MMA fighters in general. A lot of guys have a habit of keeping their hands lower to get ready to defend takedowns and also body kicks and knees. So this habit from the MMA fighter that is Francis Ngannou, he keeps dropping the left hand whenever he throws it, and this time it caused his demise. Dropping that left hand, he walked into a powerful right hand from Anthony Joshua, dropping him for the second time. And in boxing, getting dropped twice in a fight is very dangerous when it comes to brain damage. There's a very small probability Ngannou would be able to stand up and come back after getting knocked down for the second time.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna end this video here. Don't want it to be too long, but let me know what you guys think, man. Francis Ngannou got outclassed, completely outclassed, and at the end of the day, bro, yeah, Anthony Joshua is a great fighter. Can never downplay his skills. That's why he is where he is today. You get what I mean? One of the fighters who are actually at the top because of his skills. You get what I mean? And yeah, man. So with that being said, Francis Ngannou has only fought literally one time even before this happened. So this is pretty much his second fight. He has a lot to learn if he wants to keep boxing. And I believe if he can work on that, he can most likely become a better overall boxer, not only in boxing but also MMA, man. It's gonna improve your striking a lot in MMA and also boxing. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. Can't really say much about this whole situation simply because he only fought 2 times. So